with his contract. We'll kind of jump right into it because this is really damn important if you're Jaden Daniels, if you're the Commanders organization in general, really, if we're being for real, right? Because when you're looking at the Washington Commanders from the outside, from a non-fan perspective, we'll keep it there, like a non-fan perspective, right? And even from a fan perspective, but we'll keep the fan side away for now. You're looking at the Commanders and you're thinking they went to the NFC Championship last year, lost to the Eagles, who were the eventual Super Bowl winners. You can kind of hang your head on that if you're the Commanders. Does it suck that you lost and that you honestly may have had a really good chance of beating the Chiefs and the Commanders in your first year under Jane Daniels and Quinn? Yeah, it sucks. But you could look at that and be like, well, we went to the NFC Championship. Like, we are very, very good to the point where we can make it back there again and possibly even make it past that into the Super Bowl. So you're looking at that and you're thinking, not only are they good enough with their first-year head coach, not first-year head coach, but first year with Commanders head coach and a rookie quarterback, but they don't have to pay Jaden Daniels for another 3 seasons. I think it's 2. I think they have to pay him. Well, it depends whenever it is that they do it, but you don't have to pay him for a couple seasons, 2-3 seasons, right? You don't have to pay Jaden Daniels yet. Not yet. You're going to have to eventually pay him if he continues his rookie of the year, stats, how good he's been. Eventually you're going to pay him. But right now, the Commanders are looking at the season and they're going, we can win right now. We can make it to the Super Bowl. But you got to do that by putting just nothing but the best talent possible around Jaden Daniels. And with Scary Terry's contract situation right now, that's not how you want to start off the 2025 season after an amazing first year, after an amazing 2024, I should say. Now, the deal with the thing with Terry McLaurin's contract, he is right now $23.2 million a year, which puts him outside of the top 15 in his position. Yes, they got Debo. I think they still have Zach Ertz at tight end and still Brian Robinson, but Terry McLaurin is your guy. He's been a Commander since 2019. I believe they picked him in the 3rd round. I just saw something about that. I'm going to try to look for that, but it was 2019 3rd round. He got picked up and he's been with the Commanders through 3 different names. It was the Redskins at first, then the Washington football team, and now it's the Commanders. So he's been with that team through all this bullshit, like, so he's looking at that and he's saying, if I've been through all this and you guys gave me a contract and he's proven his worth, I've been through all this. I've been through the shitty management and the shitty ownership, and I'm here still producing for the rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And from all looks of it, it doesn't seem like that relationship between the two is bad in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it's just going to continue to flourish, right? Ginger's saying Jahan Dotson too. Jahan Dotson too. Ginger's like, don't forget my boy, Jahan Dotson. We're not going to forget your boy, Ginger. But he's been through all that, and he's like, look, I got to get paid for what I need to get, for what I've done and what I'm continuing to do, right? And the Commanders not having talks with him because there's quite a bit of frustration from McLaurin's part. Like, the Commanders management not talking to him is rough. That's kind of a rough look if you're the Commanders because you're in win now mode. You just brought in Debo. Brian Robinson Jr. had a very damn good first half of the year last year. Then he had a hamstring issue and it wasn't great after that. But you've still got pieces there. Like the offensive line, it is just so much better. I mean, we all saw what happened last year with these Commanders, right? So for them to not kind of move these forward or to either give him like you might have, it's just not a good look on them because Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, these are the kinds of guys that you want to make sure you are 100% good with. Terry McLaurin may at one point not maybe not produce to the level that you want him to. But for now, he's doing everything he can and everything that you want from a wide receiver one to do. Now, I'm going to read a quote. Just give me 1 second here. I'm going to read a quote, and there's a video. I'm looking on CBS NFL right now from Terry McLaurin. Give me 1 second here because, of course, my internet is ass. If you guys can hear me, just let me know because I know I'm kind of shitty Wi-Fi right now. Okay. So I'm going to read this quote real quick. Again, I got this from the video too, but basically this was what McLaurin's talking about here. Quote, I've been pretty frustrated. I'm not going to lie. Everything that has transpired up to this point has been disappointing and frustrating. I want to continue my career here. I've created my life here. My wife and I have bought our first home here. This has been somewhere I've always wanted to be. Just to see how things have played out has been disappointing. Obviously, I understand everything is a business, but at the same time, I want to put myself in a position where I'm valued and I feel appreciated and things like that. Fortunately, that hasn't transpired the way I want it to, so I'm just trying to take things day by day. He also sat out mandatory minicamp too, and he has expressed that he will continue to sit out if things aren't basically brought to him in terms of like a deal. Now, again, he's making about 23 million or so. 2019 draft, 3rd round. Last season, 82 passes, 1,096 yards, and a franchise record 13 touchdowns, which accounted for 44.8% of Washington's receiving touchdowns, which was the 3rd highest percentage of any player for a team last year. He is also one of just 6 players all time to record 900 receiving yards in his first 6 NFL seasons, and already ranks 6th in franchise history in receiving yards with 63, almost 6,400 yards. Like I said, Ginger, like I said before, Scary Terry is from my hometown, so that is my favorite dude outside the Colts. See, and even Ginger's got an interest in Scary Terry getting signed because he's the pride of that town in Indiana that Ginger's from, right? So I don't know, man. Like there was a market value tool on Spot Track that McLaurin could sign a possible 3-year, $93 million deal. Carries about an annual average value of $31.1 million. It would make him the 6th highest paid wide receiver. But that projection was made before Garrett Wilson agreed to his deal, which is 4 years, $130 million extension, just this past Monday. So it's about $32.5 million. And Garrett Wilson, obviously much younger than Scary Terry, right? Scary Terry did sign a deal not a few years ago when he was I think his rookie contract was coming up, was going to expire, whatever. So he's had a deal, but now it's like, dude, look what I've been doing for this team. I've been producing. So I need to get paid. And for that $93 million over a 3-year deal, he'd still be outside of the top 5, which I think is fair. I think in my opinion, like Scary Terry is very good. He's very good for the Commanders in terms of obviously what he does, the wide receiver one. But you've got a ton of other wide receiver ones out there that when you're looking at it as a whole, you're like, okay, I don't know if Scary Terry is better than Justin Jefferson, than Jamar Chase. Maybe even Tyreek Hill. Like, I don't know if he's better than that. I don't know if I'd put him above those guys yet. I mean, obviously you got to put age into that, production, whatnot. But I don't know if he's like top 5. But for him to be 6th with that market value tool from Spot Track, I don't think I really don't think that's a bad value for the Commanders. Again, because you're the Commanders. What are you trying to get to? You're trying to get past the NFC Championship game. You're trying to win that game to move on to the Super Bowl, to take on whichever AFC contender it is, whether it's the Chiefs, whether it's the Bills, Ravens, whatever team makes it out of there. Ginger saying same city, went to my favorite college. Wait, what college did he go to? I thought he went to Ohio State, Ginger. Oh, so you think he's better than Tyreek Hill too? Interesting. I mean, maybe now too. Tyreek Hill's still such a gangster though. He's still such a gangster. He's still so fast. I feel like if he's back on a team with like a Jaden Daniels, with like a quarterback that is a little more well established and can absolutely get him the ball too, instead of just him being the number one option. Maybe he got weapons around him. I think so. Anyway, yeah, if that's the prediction or what he's slated to make, being number 6 overall, like that's not bad for Terry McLaurin to make that type of money. Again, you're in a win now mode with Washington. You've got to make this deal. Yes, you got Debo, and Debo's going to be pretty damn awesome with Jaden Daniels and on that team with that offense in general. I think, again, obviously all things kind of being the same from last season. But Terry McLaurin, to have both of those guys on your left and on your right out wide for Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels his ability to make things happen with his own feet. I honestly, I'm not sure why the Commanders aren't making more of an effort and again, I'm getting this from what Debo's saying, from him skipping mandatory training camp or mini camp, whatever it is with the Commanders. Like, this is what I'm getting from seeing his posts, from seeing his quotes and what he's saying. Clearly he's disappointed. I just don't understand why the Commanders aren't trying to get this guy paid, right? And this could, ever since we started this podcast, we've had a lot of wide receiver issues and kind of all through the offseason, moving towards the beginning of the regular season. Brandon Ayuk comes to mind, Debo Samuel comes to mind, those two guys having disputes with the team and then finally getting paid. Just this past season, we saw Jamar Chase and oh man, the other Bengals wide receiver who finally got paid. I'm forgetting his name right now. Bengals wide receiver T. Higgins. Yeah, T. Higgins. We just saw these guys get paid. Jamar Chase, I don't think really had an issue, but I think it was more T. Higgins that was like, hey, pay me. I'm a good wide receiver. Kyle loves him. Kyle says he could be a number 1 wide receiver on any team. And we've talked about that before. So what happens? He got wide receiver 1 type of money. And now him and Jamar Chase are going to be on the Bengals roster with Joe Burrow for a few years. And they've got a window for a championship because they've been to the Super Bowl already. So we've seen throughout these last few years, these kind of like issues that wide receivers have had with the organizations. And eventually the organizations kind of come around. But if you're Terry McLaurin in this situation, you really are thinking like, okay, am I going to have to be traded? Are they going to trade me? How much am I going to have to sit out? Because from what his quote is saying, like, my wife and I have bought our first home here. Have created my life here. This is where I've always wanted to be. Maybe he's saying these things to, I don't know, have the fans put some pressure on the organization. And really at the end of the day, probably this is all very, very true. I'm sure he has bought a house. I'm sure he has made his life in DC or wherever it is that the Commanders play. So I don't know. This is just kind of strange to me in the Commanders. But again, we've seen this kind of story before and we've seen how it ends. And that's usually with the wide receiver getting paid at the end of the day, him playing for the team and everything kind of being somewhat happily ever after. Just saying Jonathan Taylor's punk ass in the running back category. True. We saw that with Jonathan Taylor. You're right. Him hold out for a bit because he held out for like 7 games, maybe less. Ginger, you would know obviously more than I would, but he held out for a few games. And then what's his face? He had a really good time with you guys while he was sitting. So Yeah, Ginger definitely knows that much about Jonathan Taylor for sure. So we're gonna have Kyle here on in a few seconds. We're just waiting on that. Yep, thumbs up. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the hottest Denver Broncos fan with the largest member I think this earth has ever seen. I'm pretty sure it's in Guinness Book of World Records how big this. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Kyle, our boy, Kyle. Kyle, I love the fit. I love the fit.
Yeah, let's go, baby. How do you guys hear me?
You're good. You're good. I think go get close to the mic and talk real quick just so I can see. Oh, I like that.
Check 1, check 1, 2.
Now move away from it a little bit more.
Check 1,
yeah,
2,
your mic's good. Yeah, your mic's good.
right
wherever
there.
you were.
So a little bit.
Oh, no. Your mic was good. I just wanted to make sure that your mic was actually on, but you're good wherever you want to start talking from.
How's the quality? Should we turn it up?
Oh no, quality's good. Quality is good. Quality's banging, dude.
Hell
just
yeah.
like your body. Just like that body.
Okay, okay, so this hat, we have to talk about it.
Let's talk about the hat. I love the camera angle, by the way.
I'm just going for different things today.
Let's go, baby. I'm wearing a tank top. It's a different stream type of day, baby.
Stream. What happened to us? We didn't coordinate this. We didn't talk about it.
Who are we?
Okay, the hat. So
yeah.
Saturday, Mary was like, I want to go to a sunflower festival thing.
Hot.
And I was like, awesome, let's go. And you know, for those of you that don't know me, I love flowers. I always have fresh flowers in my house. I love roses specifically. Of course, Washington, there's the Tulip Festival. Yep. And then there's that road where the sunflowers in August are just blooming. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? You used to drive past it every day.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm that's what I had in mind. And I go out there and no, dude, it's like acres of sunflowers.
Oh, shit.
It was so cool because it was like big, but it was a small event at the same time. All of the vendors there were like mom and pop. I build leather. I make leather wallets. You know, and this one guy was showing me all of the different leather he uses, and all of the animals are like, humane sourcing for the leather. So like if they catch, you know, something or something dies naturally, things that would just naturally degrade, they would take that and then, you know, make something into it. So like, anyway, all of these cool little spots. And then I come across this lady that like is making hats on the spot. And I'm like, I've never been a hat guy. I'm just not a hat guy. I can't complain too much about it because I have nice hair. So it's like,
true.
At least I have nice hair, you know? So but I see this blue hat and I'm like, this hat is awesome.
You're like, this is the one.
And I'm at the sunflower thing and it just happened to be sunflowers. And
that's nice.
It could be a lady's hat. I'm not sure, but I like it.
I like how matter of fact you're like, it could be a lady's hat. I don't know, but I liked it.
I liked it. And she was like, oh, I can do some stuff. She took out a flamethrower and started like burning for like edge. Decoration.
Yeah, kind of like a charred
and burnt.
Oh, I see it. Oh, that is kind of cool. That's a nice little touch to it.
Exactly. And I was like, man, I feel like Johnny Depp in Secret Window. Have you seen that movie?
I have seen Secret Window. God, you bring that up and I'm like, that unlocks like a childhood memory almost of when that movie came out. I was a kid when that came out. Wow.
That was probably a scary movie for a
It
kid.
was, yeah. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, he's like eating the corn at the end of it. But yeah, man, I think this hat just spoke to me, and I get it now. Like, I've never been a hat person, but I
Mhm.
guess when it comes to these type of hats, there's a story like that connects you to the hat. And for
Mhm.
me, it'll be that I was at the Sunflower Festival and there was a sunflower hat, and I put it on and thought this actually might be the first hat that I not look terrible in.
I love it. I
And I was
love it,
like, I
dude.
have to take advantage of it. This may never happen again.
That's awesome, dude. I like that because I'm a hat person, and luckily, just like you, I have a good head of hair on my head as well.
Yeah,
So
you do.
appreciate that. So I really like. I remember when I would wear hats a lot, people would be like, "Dude, you know, if you wear two hats too much, you lose your hair." And luckily, it hasn't. But I remember the very first hat I ever bought, and it was almost like a color like this, like a brownish color, like a light tan color, and it was from Old Navy, and it had Old Navy on the front. And my aunt bought it for me when I was like a child, dude. Like that was the first hat ever, and I wore it all the time. So I know that feeling where you're just like, this hat, it fucking rocks.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be a hat. It can be a new wallet, especially when you're
Mhm.
a kid and you get a present that you're just really connected to.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like this thing. It's funny because other things you have to have them for like 10 years for it to feel like it's a part of you.
Mhm.
But when you're a kid, you can just get a gift and it automatically has that like connection.
Yeah.
No time needed.
100%. 100%. You're just like, this is my identity.
Yeah.
I want to real quick, Kyle, highlight this comment by Ginger. My motherfucking boy. Congratulations. Ginger watched the episode.
Let's go.
If everybody who's here doesn't know yet, you should. But my boy Kyle is going to have his second boy. Clap it up.
I'm so pumped about it. It was crazy because yesterday I thought to myself, I'm gonna send Jinja a message because I'm worried. And, and he actually sent me a message like 5 minutes
Nice.
later,
Nice.
and I didn't send it. And I was like, wow, we were thinking about each other. How cute. And,
You guys, you make out already. Jesus.
and then yesterday I had by far the worst day at my job that I've ever had. I thought I was going to
Oh,
get
fuck.
fired. It was
Yeah.
like the regional. I was just getting yelled at literally all day.
Mhm.
And that's just kind of the way the corporate world is. Like something goes wrong and somebody's got to take the fall for it, and
Yeah.
nobody wants to. And I'm
Yeah.
in that spot where it's like you're the perfect guy because you're important enough where we can actually pin this on you, but you're not so important that you can pass it to someone else.
Yeah.
I'm just stuck right there.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm sorry. I'm so
So
sorry. That
that's why I
sucks.
didn't get back to texting Jinja. It was just like one of those days where I went straight from that
Mhm.
day of work straight to joining Mary in a
Mhm.
city 45 minutes away for baby, like baby learning classes.
Yeah.
And by the time I got home, I just was like, there was nothing in the tank, not even
Oh,
to pick up my
100%.
phone, and just nothing. But I was hoping I would see Jinja on here today. So thank
Yeah,
you.
he was on here like he was one of the first comments, and we got Nick in the chat as well. What up, Nick? We got Nick and Ginger in here.
I'm going to retweet this really quick.
Yeah, of course. And I feel you, dude. It's one of those things where you're like, you're just socially drained. It's like that social battery that everybody talks about. It's like your social battery's drained and you need to recharge by either just hanging out with like your significant other, play some video games, watch TV, scroll TikTok or whatever the fuck. It's just one of those things. So I totally get it. I totally get it. But while Kyle's retweeting that,
Done. Did you
sick.
see the
Retweeted.
quarterback list?
I did, but the quarterback list.
So like executives, head coaches,
Oh, I heard about that.
they
Yeah.
rank the top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe you'd want to glance at it. I don't know.
Yeah, let me take a look at that, because the one article I saw here on CBS was that Lamar Jackson was 6th, I believe, in that list. But let me actually get to the actual ratings.
4th, I think.
Oh, 4th.
I think it was, of course, Mahomes. I think Josh Allen was in 2nd. Joe Burrow was in 3rd. Lamar was in 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I think they put Jaden Daniels at 5.
Wow.
I think Jalen Hurts was at 6. I might just be making shit up at this point.
What? So as I'm looking for that, what is like, what kind of struck you first from that list? Like, what did you look at and you were like, this is good. What was it?
Honestly, number 1 through number 5 is non-negotiable. Number 1 through number 5 isn't something that you're going to have any success with if you want to debate. Okay. We all know that Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson have kind of, I meant 1 through 4, not 1 through 5. Sorry. 5 is where the debate starts. A massive debate starts at number 5 because 1 through 4, I don't think you can debate. Like,
it's
Joe
hard.
Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. That's it. I mean, what are we even talking about? But once you get to number 5, it's like a full on, like, I mean, look, we could, if we wanted to put Jaden there because he won 2 football games in the postseason, I get it. But Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I mean, he outdueled Patrick Mahomes arguably in the first meeting, scored like 38 points in the game. The defense, they got a bad penalty. The Chiefs won, but I mean, that easily, I thought that whole game the Eagles were going to win it, and easily it could have happened, and we would be talking about a 2-time Super Bowl, 2-time Super Bowl MVP quarterback.
Yep.
And why is it like that? I never understood this. Like, why does he keep getting like not taken serious? Like, it's like, yeah, no, he's really good, but he has good coaching. So does Mahomes. Why is he at number 1? I mean, look, we could talk about quarterbacks in what they don't have, but we don't judge a quarterback that way. Like, I could make a case that Jaden Daniels had more weapons on offense than Bo Nix did last year. And I would be right. But that doesn't mean that I get to just like move Bo Nix ahead of Jaden Daniels because of what he didn't have. We can only judge you based on what you've done. I think we can a little bit predict what could have happened had the circumstances been better. And I'll give you an example. I think Joe Burrow should be at number 3 or number 2.
Oh, okay.
And I think really when it comes down to it, I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. And I've been like thinking this for a while. Now, I know Mahomes has the Super Bowls, but the one thing that's different between Mahomes, because for the last 4 years, there was no debate about Mahomes. It was like, of course, he's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL. But lately, and maybe you could call it Mahomes fatigue. Maybe you could call it that whenever you're on the mountaintop for long enough, people are going to get bored and want a new narrative to spice up the content.
100%.
I'm going to call it something different. My eyes. I watched Mahomes play last year. I saw how good that defense was. And I saw Mahomes win these games that was like, yeah, I can't think of one game that stands out. Like, dude, he was like shredding it. He was a surgeon. He was just boom, boom, boom. You could not stop him. That game didn't even take place last year. Definitely not in the Super Bowl. His best game of the year was the AFC Championship, and my hat goes off to him. But Joe Burrow, if his defense would have even been 15th, middle of the pack would have probably not only gone to a Super Bowl, but Joe Burrow would have definitely won MVP. The only reason Joe Burrow didn't win MVP last year is because you got to win your division to win MVP. It's as simple as that. If you don't win your division, you're not getting the MVP award. But that defense was atrocious. I mean, historically, no team had no quarterback had God, there's so many I could do. It's like the amount of passing yards he had. In it, like he was averaging in his losses 33 points per game. What?
Yeah, he had almost 5,000 yards, 43 touchdowns last year.
43 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, and
70.6 completion rate.
70.6 completion rate. That's insane, guys. So I think two things. One, the Bengals wasted a season that maybe they never get back from Joe Burrow. We know that Joe Burrow has had a hard time staying healthy. And unfortunately, they wasted what I think if they even had a mediocre defense, I think the Bengals could have won the Super Bowl. Because I think the Bengals could have kept up with Philly offensively. I do.
And the Bengals last year were literally the opposite of the Chiefs. The offense was stellar. The defense sucked. And on the flip side, Kansas City, the offense wasn't nearly as good as it's been, and the defense was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I got no problem with putting Joe Burrow above Lamar Jackson for the sheer fact that Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. It's simple as that. Lamar Jackson has had, I mean, look, they added Jair Alexander on the defense, and it's like hard for me to get excited for them. I'm like, okay, yeah, last year they added Derrick Henry. Like, I mean, they're not missing a piece. What they're missing is something in the building. They are not looking for something to, oh, now we're talented enough to win a Super Bowl. They've been talented enough to win a Super Bowl, but some teams just don't have the recipe for whatever reason. And at some point, you have to look at John Harbaugh and say, are you just Mike Tomlin? I mean,
are you just white Mike Tomlin?
Are you white Mike Tomlin? Same division.
Yeah.
You're going to have a winning record. You're going to have loyal fans. You're going to go to the playoffs. You may even host a playoff game. But, I mean, your last Super Bowl is 2012, dude. It's been over a decade. Like, what are we talking about? How long do you get to? But that's the thing. Like, as long as your head coach gives you a chance or the fans feel like there's a chance, it's hard to fire. It's hard to fire when you're really good and you were supposed to be great. That's what happened when the Broncos fired John Fox in 2013. They decided that 2014, they fired John Fox. And look, John Fox for the previous 2 years went to the Super Bowl. And then the year after was the number 1 seed in the AFC and lost in the divisional round. And they fired his ass because they said, we're supposed to be better. And the next year, Gary Kubiak, and we win a Super Bowl.
That's actually, that point right there is so good because you even see that happening in like the NBA. Like you make an exceptionally great point with the fact that John Harbaugh, his last Super Bowl win was 2012, and yet he has got a 2-time MVP at quarterback. He's got a defense that is really fucking good, and they added Jair Alexander. You know, whether how that's going to play out is yet to be seen, but they're still very good with the players that they had, and yet you still come up short in those big time games. In this case, it was the AFC Championship game, right? So, it was a championship, yeah. So that is such a valid point, and I'm sure Ravens fans hate it because Ravens fans right now were like, how is it that we haven't gotten to a Super Bowl? And then you look and you're like, okay. Is it Mahomes? More than likely, yeah. But last year was the defense. But then the years prior to, it was like, well, they clearly weren't running the ball very much. Lamar Jackson had to do everything. Okay, well, now we got to get a running back. They get Derrick Henry, right? Can it work out this following season? We don't know, but there has been questions as to the decisions that the coach Harbaugh has made in terms of the offense, because the defense is going to be the defense. But like, dude, how are you not going to run the ball the year prior to in 2023 or something like that, right? Like there's always a little bit that you're kind of like doubting him in. There's one aspect you're always doubting him in because, like you said, no, Harbaugh. You're doubting him because you're like, dude, the last time you won it was 13 seasons ago. Insane.
Yeah, and eventually, when you're as talented as the Ravens are, you go through some sort of a reset, and it's happening to the 49ers right now. All of a sudden, Hufanga, Greenlaw, Brandon Ayuk, or no, not Brandon Ayuk. Debo. All of a sudden, 3 superstar Pro Bowl All-Pros are gone because they're like, yeah, we can't realistically pay all these guys and Brock Purdy. They gave Lamar Jackson, they're looking at restructuring right now. They're going to have one more shot at this, and I think something's going to happen. And I would love to talk about that today, because I think there's a few coaches that if they don't go to an AFC championship game and win, which is to say go to the Super Bowl, but I will say if they like go back and forth like how Philly and the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl and lose that way, I think they'll get a pass. But I think Zach Taylor for the Bengals, I think John Harbaugh, I think Mike Tomlin, I think all of these guys who have historically been safe, and we don't even talk about them, I think that this is their year to put up or shut up. And for the Ravens, man, it might be their last year with a roster this talented in a long time.
Real quick, I do want to touch on that, but we have some breaking news that Nick just broke for us. Von Miller plans to sign with the Washington Commanders per social media, a 1-year deal, which will be his 16th NFL season, looking for his 3rd Super Bowl title of his career. Kyle, your initial reaction is damn it. Nick, thank you for breaking that on stream. I appreciate you.
Look, I'm gonna just say I was super bullish on Jaden Daniels, and I felt like I would give up the farm to draft them, and he did not disappoint last year. And I feel like Von Miller joining up with him is like, I don't know.
Is this like KD with Golden State or what?
Yeah, I guess. Like I'm just like, oh, couldn't he have taken like a team-friendly deal and can't come to Denver? I mean, he did say he wants to end his career there. And I don't know what that looks like, but he sat down in an interview and they asked him, like, how would you feel about going back to Denver? And he was like, they don't need a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Look at they have the most depth as pass rushers. Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, Nick Bonito,
yeah.
I mean, you're adding Dre Greenlaw, who's exceptional at rushing the passer. They got DJ Jones in the trenches. Like, they're good, and Von Miller knew that it just was like, yeah, the fans would love it, but like, GMs don't really make decisions for fans, you know?
Yeah, because if it was the fans making the decisions, Von Miller would have been on the Broncos years ago.
Never left.
Yeah, he never would have left. So I get it. I do like this comment from Nick. He's like, he hopes Von gets his swan song if we can't win it. Meaning the Broncos, obviously. But
I felt that way about the Bills last year too.
Yeah, and at least though, you can have kind of some solace in knowing that he won his first one with the Broncos. Like that one,
yeah,
you can't take away.
Yeah.
And that's the first one. And he was dominant.
You'd be the first defender in NFL history to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be, I mean, it would be good for him. Obviously, like you said, like if it were up to me, let's say somebody else left the Bears or whatever. I don't know. Let's say Brian Urlacher, for example, he didn't retire, went to another team. I'd be like, bring him back to the Bears. Let
Where
him end
did
his
Jalen
career.
Ramsey go?
Jalen Ramsey went to the Dolphins.
Yeah, but didn't he just get traded?
Oh no, he did just get traded. We were just talking about that too.
Wasn't he like causing an issue?
Yeah, he went to this fucking.
I thought it was a Northeast team. I mean, yeah, like up there in the not Philly.
Steelers.
I thought it was
Steelers.
It's funny how I can remember like the area on the map.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't remember exactly where.
Hat on fire. What up?
So, hat on fire. I literally had this hat on fire.
He literally did. He did. He had basically your profile pic on his head not too long
ago. Is that
ago.
what happened to you? And then you just like were like, that's my name now.
That's exactly what happened to him. I'm willing to bet that's what happened.
I need to know like how that name happened. But in the meantime, let me tell you, I was just listening to one of my favorite podcasts, which is rarely, if ever, about sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my break from sports podcast, and it's Bill Maher, who is on HBO Max. He's always had that show. It used to be in the early 90s. It was like Politically Incorrect. Then he made that documentary Religious Lists or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then he came out of that and did Real Time with Bill Maher.
Yep.
And then he just did it. Like they were like, dude, you got to do All the Young Kids Have a Podcast. And he did it. And he has 2 homes in Los Angeles, and like they're next to each other. So this other home is like his party home. And in his basement,
must be nice to be rich.
Yeah, it is, dude. I can vicariously watch that and feel kind of rich. Like I'm like, man, I feel a little rich just being here on the other side of the screen. But no, like I like it because Bill Maher and I don't agree on everything, but I love that. I don't want to listen to people I agree with everything about. I like to be challenged and
mentally challenged.
Yeah, exactly. No, but really, but yeah, but yeah. No, but what I was saying was Odell Beckham Jr. was his guest, and I thought I have to see this. This is so you guys don't get it. Like, why is Odell Beckham? It's club random, and they stay true to the name. Like, it is very random. Like, he has like Pierce Morgan on, and then it's like Odell Beckham Jr., and then it's freaking the director Quentin Tarantino, and it's like, it's so wild and it's fun. And I'm listening to Odell Beckham, and he's talking about his journey, and really it was his foot injury that started all of these other injuries. And the doctor that performed his foot surgery told him, you are probably never going to be the same again, and this is going to cause other injuries. And then his knee went out. We know about the ACL, the MCL. All of this stemmed from his injury with the Giants, his foot injury.
Oh.
And but he talked about when he went to the Rams, he was like, the hardest part as a player that no one talks about is the brotherhood. He was like, Jalen Ramsey, me, Von Miller. He was like, we were like real, like immediately we were like a brotherhood. And then it just got like tore up and we all had to like go in different directions, but we all got a ring. And he was like, where's your ring? You don't wear it? And he was like, I don't need to wear it. You know, people know.
Yeah.
And Bill was like, I love that. I love that. And then he's like, there's a book called something that you guys heard before. It's like one of the most popular books about leadership.
Yeah.
And it says, never show your sword. You always keep your best thing behind you, but you always have it ready just in case.
Just in case. Yeah.
And he was like, I like that with the Super Bowl ring. Like, you don't need to wear it. You know, you're not compensating for anything. But I guess the story of it all that I'm trying to relay to you is that Odell is like not satisfied with his career ending where it's at right now. He feels like he's been robbed of like his best moments due to unfortunate events like injury, but also like the timing of it, like the Super Bowl, the only type of injury where it affects the next season as well. I mean, it's just like it has been unfortunate. And listening to him, he feels like he has a ton to prove. And I think as fans, we're like, dude, the moment you made that catch with the Giants with 2 fingers,
Yeah.
like you were good from that point on.
Yeah.
But he's got to look in the mirror and be okay with himself, and he's just not there yet. And it made me wonder, like, I think I like where his head's at right now. He's much more mature. Like he's
100%.
he
Yeah.
just wants to go contribute to a team and win a ring. But he still thinks he could be like 1,000-yard receiver. And does that rarely happen? Like, yeah, they all feel that way, of course. But Odell Beckham's one of the few guys that may be able to actually do it because we know how talented he is.
100%. Yeah.
And he's still not on a team.
Yeah. And he could be, but I think what was it when he was on the Dolphins? It was a little bit like, man, is this kind of the end of OBJ? Because I totally feel what you're saying about seeing a podcast or seeing a guest on a podcast and being like, I believe in this guy, because it does happen. And kind of like Von Miller, which we were just talking about, it's like one of those things where you know him, you know what he has done and what he may be capable of, but it may not always kind of go in their way. But as long as they are comfortable with the fact that they can be contributors and not necessarily the stars, like, or I think he was on the Ravens too, actually. As long as or as long as they know that they can kind of go in there and be like, I am a role player. I'm not necessarily the 1,000-yard receiver. I'm gonna be able to contribute. And real quick, Lil fucking Lil E in the house. What up, Lil E? Been too long. Has been too long. Lil E, what's up? What's good? What's good? Glad to have you in here with everybody. It seems like everybody's here right now.
Yeah.
I appreciate all of you guys being in here right
dude.
now.
We should just talk bullshit more often. No, but
I agree though.
I thought there was a really good connection, because tell me there's not a parallel between Von Miller and OBJ at this point in their careers. They both are just like, I don't want to hang them up like this.
I agree.
I need one more. Just, it doesn't have to be great. Oh, Aaron Rodgers is in the same situation where Kirk Cousins is in the same situation where they're like, they say that, of course, Aaron Rodgers says that's not true. It's like, dude, you don't get to be as good as you are in any profession, especially in football, any position. Like, you have to be, you're competitive. You can act like you don't care. Like Mahomes said, he didn't care about being number 1 in the top 100. Bullshit. You care. Of course you care. He says, all I care about is Super Bowl rings. 2 things can be true. You care about both. And at the end of the day, they say the right thing, but there's those 4 players. Kirk Cousins was benched for Penix. Aaron Rodgers in the Jets was an ultimate failure.
Yeah.
Von Miller went to Buffalo to be the piece to take him over the top, and he was injured for an entire season, and nobody even noticed he was on the field last year. And OBJ, but you couldn't even remember he played for the Ravens before. We got these players that feel like they have something to prove. And I agree with you, as long as they're willing to accept being a role player, because if they go out and overperform over the expectations, they're going to get more snaps. It's not like they're not going to, like, if OBJ has a 100-yard game week 1, he'll be in the game plan week 2. You know what I mean?
100%. And I couldn't agree more about the parallels, especially with Von Miller and OBJ. Obviously the difference is Von is now on a team, right? It did take a little bit. I mean, obviously we're almost about a month or so away from the season, and OBJ isn't on a team, but I just think it's a little bit more difficult for OBJ, because at least with Von Miller, you're like, okay, he's a little bit older. The last couple of years he has been hurt, and we don't necessarily need a guy. We don't necessarily need Von Miller from a decade ago. We just need Von Miller to contribute, versus OBJ. I feel like he really does think like, I could be the number 1 guy. not necessarily taking into consideration that he has been hurt before. But with Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers, that's a little bit even more tough because they play the hardest position in sports, and that's quarterback.
Yeah.
Injuries on top of that.
Do you
time
think
in the
Kirk
league
Cousins is going to start somewhere next year?
Yeah, no.
I'm like
even in
where?
Atlanta, even if like Atlanta keeps him and they don't trade him and he's still on the roster, I think it's the Michael Penix show from here on out, like no matter what.
The weird thing about the Cousins thing is that his family loved Minnesota so much, and the only reason they decided to leave Minnesota was because they weren't comfortable with a 1-year deal, like kind of like a prove it deal.
Yeah.
He wanted a long-term commitment. So they sent him to Atlanta because Atlanta was like, we'll give that to you. But then all of a sudden, it's like, you don't actually have that. You get benched, and then they say Michael Penix is the long-term starter, while the Vikings would have been the perfect place for Kirk Cousins to play this year. All along.
Yeah.
If he would have just and if the Atlanta didn't lie and say like, hey, we're actually not that committed to you, like we're going to draft a quarterback in the first round in case you suck, I think he would have signed that 1-year, 2-year deal with the Vikings, which is the irony of the whole thing.
Yeah, because then we don't have Sam Darnold either. Like we don't have the elevation of Sam Darnold to where he's at now. It's crazy to think about that. He takes that deal. Sam Darnold is not a $126 million quarterback or whatever it is that Seattle Seahawks gave him now.
Gino's not a Raider.
Gino's not a Raider. JJ McCarthy is probably, I don't know, maybe not even a Viking. Honestly, maybe not, right? And I want to answer this quick question here by Nick. Speaking of 2010 guys who are in the twilight of their career, does Joe Flacco hang it up in Cleveland? Yes, 100%.
Yeah, Joe Flacco just keep hanging him up and then getting a call.
Joe Flacco in October's like, I'm like mid-30s, almost 40, right? $1 million, $2 million bucks. Yeah, I'll go play half this year. Why not?
He's like, hey, are you still playing football? Like, are you in football shape? We're just curious. We just, we're down a guy.
Flacco's like, I'm in A shape.
He's like, I don't know. I seem to be getting better the more out of shape I get. So I've been just sitting on my couch, but I'm good to go. The Cam Newton thing where he was like, I was on my couch eating cereal at this time last week.
Yeah, he's like, I was taking my kids to school. We were having movie nights. Like it was a good life. It was a good life. So KC, I hope so.
Do you have a problem with Jaden Daniels being at number 5 on this quarterback list, just to bring it back to because this was a big story in the NFL, this list. Every sports channel talked about it, and I do have it here confirmed. Jaden Daniels is at number 5, and the reason and this is voted, this isn't like one beat writer saying it, it's a collective agreement. And the reason was Daniels' phenomenal rookie season demanded an appearance somewhere in the top 10. Then he pushed his way into the top 5, outdistancing Stafford in the voting.
Yeah, that's weird.
Last season, Daniels posted the 4th highest QBR in the NFL, the best mark for a rookie since Dak Prescott. But he was even better on 3rd and 4th down, recording a league-leading 95.3 QBR on those downs. Single-handedly took over one of the worst franchises and then took him to an NFC title game as a rookie with a bad defense.
And see, like that right there is such a great reason as to why I like that he's 5. It's so difficult because it's so difficult because of what these other guys have done. And I'm talking about Stafford, Herbert. Maybe I think he deserves to be lower, to be honest. Goff, Hurts, and even Baker Mayfield, because you can make an argument that Baker Mayfield did sort of the same thing to the Bucks. Now the Bucks were nowhere near the worst NFL franchise like the Commanders were, but after Tom Brady, you're thinking of whatever other quarterback they're going to go with, and then Baker Mayfield is a free agent. You bring him on, and he has 2 straight playoff appearances and is killing it with Mike Evans and Palmer and all these other guys, and you're just like, this is the Baker Mayfield that was a Brown a few years ago and was doing these amazing things. Like, why did the Browns give up on him? Oh, because of Deshaun Watson. Honestly, I would put Jaden Daniels well below Goff, well below Hurts, below Mayfield, below Stafford. I don't know if Justin Herbert deserves to be 7 above Goff, Hurts, and Mayfield. I don't think Herbert's belongs there. He had an amazing rookie year, 5,000 plus yards passing. Don't get me wrong. But I think him and Jane Daniels should be 9 and 10. Whatever order you want to put him in, I can agree. But Mayfield, Hurts, 2 Super Bowls, like you were just saying earlier. Goff, he's been to a Super Bowl, lost it, and is basically revived his career, or has continued his good career with the Lions. And then Stafford has won a Super Bowl and has had over a decade of consistent play at the quarterback position, and sometimes hurt and with a very bad supporting cast. And he still is able to make what's the phrase? He's still able to make, I don't know, something out of peanuts, whatever the fuck the phrase is. Like, he's still able to make the team good, even though the supporting cast isn't that good. So I like Jaden Daniels. Don't get me wrong. He had an amazing rookie season all the way to the NFC Championship. I don't know if that should propel him above these other guys, Jalen Hurts being the big one. But I think I don't think it's bad to put him in the top 10, if I'm being honest.
No, and you said something too that I wanted to bring up. You said, I just don't think it's fair because of what these other guys that are behind him have done. And one of the things about this list is like,
sorry, real quick, can you repeat that? I froze.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying, you said, I don't think he could be ahead of these other guys just because of what they've done. Guys like Stafford and and you went on to say everything they've done. But the one thing that this list is, because I feel like at the end of your career, or even at year 7, or Joe Burrow year 6, whatever it is, you kind of like know who a guy is. You put it all together and then you come up with an opinion. But this isn't really that type of list. Like if Stafford and Jaden Daniels ended their careers at the same time today, of course Stafford won a Super Bowl, so he would go above him. Yeah. But this list is specifically saying in the 2025 season, that's it. These are the best quarterbacks. If you were starting a team, these are the quarterbacks you would want to lead it. And you would go in this order for one season. That's how I look at the list.
Okay.
Because it's saying best quarterbacks in the league today, right now. Yeah. And I think, of course, Mahomes would probably be the number 1 overall pick for most people. I don't know. I think I would. I mean, if you put Josh Allen on the Chiefs, does he have a ring? I think so.
100%. Honestly, number 1 for me, I know you went Burrow, and I love Burrow. I really do love Burrow. I love what he did with LSU, and I love what he's done with the Bengals. He's literally revived the Bengals
right
from the last 10 years without Carson Palmer. I love Josh Allen just that much more than Joe Burrow, and he also came onto the Bills, which was a team that was really bad for a really long time. I mean, they had their first playoff appearance because the Bengals beat somebody like a few years ago prior to Josh Allen being on the team or whatever.
Our brother's high school quarterback.
There you go. There you go.
4 interceptions in the first half.
There you go. And these guys, both Joe Burrow, Josh Allen and Mahomes resurrected entire franchises similar to what Jaden Daniels is doing now with the Commanders. It's really one of those things where you're just like, wow, they resurrected an entire franchise. But again, number one this year, if that's the standard we're kind of going off with what you just said, I think I'm going Josh Allen 1, Joe Burrow 2, Patrick Mahomes 3 because of the Super Bowls, and then Lamar Jackson 4. No matter what, I think I'm going Lamar Jackson 4.
Yeah, it's funny how we all kind of agree that the big three is, and people say, why is Allen part of the big three and Lamar's not? What has Allen accomplished that Lamar hasn't? I mean, people are even mad that Allen won the MVP over Lamar last year. And I think the answer is simple. Aside, like I said, how you lose does matter in a way.
Yeah.
Not like at the end of the day, all that matters is Super Bowls. I get that. But when it comes to these lists that we're talking about, how you lose does matter, because we probably all, whether we know it or not, have Allen over Lamar because of the AFC divisional game against the Chiefs where they created a new overtime rule.
Yeah.
That game
that was
with
wild.
like 21 points in the final 3 minutes or so. Like Allen won that game, dude. He won the game, and his defense for 12 seconds couldn't seal the deal. 12 seconds. I mean, like when a guy goes out there and he beat Mahomes. We all came away from that game like Allen did what he had to do to slay the dragon, and his defense just let him down time and time again. I don't feel like we feel that way with the Ravens. Like, what playoff game? I know Andrews had the drop 2-point conversion, but aside from that game where they came back and, really like actually played a good, decent game in the second half, what like Ravens loss stands out like that Buffalo loss?
I mean, yeah, not really. I mean, the Chiefs lost last year. I think that's about it. But even that one's like not nowhere near as heartbreaking, I think, as the Bills one.
Yeah, because they lost in the division.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like,
yeah.
So they were one and
had
done.
high hopes.
They played one playoff game.
Because they had the bye week, right? They were the number.
Yeah,
no, I thought they played the.
Oh no,
no,
they played the Texans, right?
Did they play the? No, because the Texans won. Right? No, the Texans won a game in.
that was last year. The year
no,
before.
but CJ Stroud's also won a game last year against the Browns.
Yeah, last year against the Browns, and then this year.
No, last year was against the Chargers. The year prior in 23 was the Browns, and then they lost.
Buffalo beat Denver in the wild card round. The Chargers were the 6th seed. They played the Texans, and the Texans beat the Chargers.
Correct, yeah.
And then the Texans played the Bills. No. The Texans played the Ravens. It was a rematch, I swear.
Playoff.
And then the Ravens won, and the Bills lost.
I'm looking
to the
this
Chiefs,
up right now.
And the Chiefs and Ravens played in the AFC Championship game, I think.
So last year, Texans beat the Chargers, went on to play the Chiefs, lost 23-14. The Ravens beat the Steelers and lost to the Bills last year. I think that's what you were saying.
The Ravens beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
In the wild
lost card to the Bills.
In the division, and then it was Chiefs Bills in the conference.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, I feel like all of Lamar's playoff wins are these like wild card games where it's like they beat the Steelers with Russell Wilson, right? I want to see him slay the dragon like Josh Allen did in the 2021, I think it was. Like that game is probably the best football game I've seen in my life. It's so high up there. So anyway, that's why Lamar, I think, isn't in the big three. He could easily do it. He's just got to So whatever it is, it could be Harbaugh. I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what's like keeping them from
I,
that.
and I want to go back to the comment of you like being like, hey, Tomlin and Harbaugh, specifically in the AFC North, like this is one of those years that I agree where I'm like, you guys gotta win a playoff game. Or and that's more Tomlin. I feel like Harbaugh is more like, dude, you have got the roster. You got to go to the Super Bowl. If he goes to the Super Bowl, I think that's more than enough for the Ravens organization and fans to be like, all right, we're good with him. But if he doesn't, if he makes the divisional round and loses again, I think it's one of those times what you were saying earlier where it's like, we're good with you, John Fox, but we're going to fire you because you can't take us to the promised land, and we're going to get a guy who we think can. And if that happens, then indeed it is Harbaugh. It is Tomlin, because that's kind of what I was saying a couple episodes ago when I did the solo episode with Tomlin. I was like, this may be with Rodgers at quarterback and the fact that they got rid of, I mean, I know they brought in DK Metcalf, but they got rid of the other receiver. I was like, this might be the first time Tomlin has a losing season, if I'm being honest.
We've been saying that for like 5 years in a row.
Facts. But I really do think it this year. I don't know, like Rodgers, again, like I know what Rodgers has done, but what he's done recently has not been anything worthwhile, you know.
Right.
Is Tomlin going to go above 500 this year? Probably, but I'm still like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think they will, just because they were able to do it with Fields and Wilson, and I think DK Metcalf is an upgrade over Deontay Johnson.
No, not Johnson, the other guy, George Pickens. George Pickens, yeah.
Yeah, I like DK Metcalf. I also like a couple of the receivers that they drafted last year that didn't play at all. One of them was out of Michigan. I'm blanking on his name, but they got some younger guys I think will be good. I think Jaylen Warren is a upgrade somehow over Najee Harris. Najee's got a big name, so he gets a pass, but it felt like the Steelers were much more explosive when Jaylen Warren was in the game. And that's gone on for like the last 2 seasons.
100%.
So I just don't rule out them because of their defense. Because if you can keep your opponent scoring 13 points, like, yeah. I mean, if Russell Wilson, I know him. If he and Fields, you know him, both of our quarterbacks that we got rid of, if they could collectively lead you to 10-1 by week 12, I'm not saying that I disagree with you, but I'm not saying I agree either.
You're like, I'm not putting a bet on it.
I'm putting no opinion on this.
Well, okay, so let's frame this way. Let's just say, not taking into consideration current contracts for the coaches, this is their last year on their contract. Who's moving on from their coach first, the Ravens or the Steelers?
The Ravens.
You're moving on from Harbaugh before Tomlin?
Yeah, because the Ravens have something that the Steelers don't, and that's a quarterback that's won 2 MVPs. I mean, look, that's the way the NFL is supposed to be. If you have one of the top 3 quarterbacks in any era, that is mostly been like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And then the third was Big Ben for a while. Those 3 had Super Bowl rings. Tom Brady had multiple, and then Peyton Manning finally got his against the Bears, unfortunately for you. Don't worry. Big Ben,
you can say it. That was 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago. I'm a little over it. But I love that perspective of it, because you can look at it 2 ways. I like the way you're looking at it, because you're saying he's not good enough to get these guys with a 2-time MVP quarterback to the Super Bowl. He's just not. And you could look at it the way that I was kind of looking at it, where it's like, this guy's gotten to the AFC Championship game, or at least has been in the playoffs very, very consistently versus Mike Tomlin, who has been in the playoffs, but it's been like a wild card and you lose,
Dude, if
but
you
I
put
like
Lamar in Mike Tomlin's care, the Steelers are at a minimum having the same. I think they're having more success, but most likely it's the same. I swear, I think they're the same. I mean,
I can see that.
They're very similar, but like, weren't the Steelers winning that division 80% of the year last year?
Yeah.
And
they were ahead
with Fields and Russell Wilson. And you're telling me that if you threw a 2-time MVP on that roster, that they couldn't have accomplished a little bit more than they could with Russell Wilson? Dude, I just feel like Mike Tomlin even Ben Roethlisberger's final 4 years with the Steelers felt like the dad playing flag football with the beer belly, just kind of running around. You can't sack him because he's got that I'm massive thing going on, right? That was his thing. You couldn't sack him. He was just he would still throw it with like 3 guys taking him down. Just
and he was always injured.
What's the last game that you watched where you were like, Ben Roethlisberger is elite, right? He went
2015. I don't know.
Not even. He went to 2 Super Bowls. He beat my Broncos in the AFC Championship game in 2005 with Jake Plummer. We had Jake Plummer and Mike Anderson, Tatum Bell. That was a good year, but we got beat in the AFC Championship, and the Steelers beat the Seahawks. I think Ben Roethlisberger was in his 2nd season, and he was the youngest ever to win a Super Bowl. And that was when it was confirmed GOAT, because it would be like Jaden Daniels winning one this year. Yeah. Right. Imagine how we would feel about that. And Mahomes did that, and we already know what happened with him. Tom Brady did that. Like, these quarterbacks that are really like special that get gold jackets, they pretty much go to a Super Bowl by their 2nd year. Same with Joe Burrow. And if you're going to be one of those quarterbacks, you're like, in your 2nd year, it's like you got to go to the Super Bowl or you got to win one. Yeah. And it's tough, but like that's why there's only a couple. But Big Ben did that. And then 2 years after that, won again against the Cardinals. And
with Tomlin.
And that was like, he got his place in that elite club. And then that was the end of the like, ever since then, it was just like these tiny, there was no Peyton Manning fall. It was just, he took the stairs from the 15th floor. And by the time he got to the bottom, he never noticed when it actually happened.
That's so true. That's so true. Because Roethlisberger was one of those guys that, like, I would say the last 5 to 6 seasons of his career where it was just like, this guy is literally limping into the playoffs, And you're right. The last one against the Cardinals was one of those where you were like, wow, Roethlisberger is fucking killing it again. What was that, 2009 or whatever it was?
And then on the sideline,
Santonio Holmes, that catch was ridiculous.
That throw was ridiculous too.
And the throw, 100%. You're right. 100% props to Roethlisberger. But then you're kind of looking at that and you're like, he's got a few more. And he never really did after that. He was more like, oh, Roethlisberger's 50 pounds heavier than he was last year. And then it's like, and he's got a knee thing and he's got a shoulder thing. And it was just never the same.
He did go to 3 Super Bowls in 5 years? Because
like that.
In 2010, they lost to Aaron Rodgers.
Packers,
So, I mean, there was 3 years out of 5. And I remember because I was in middle school and my teacher was a Steelers fan who was in the Navy, who did 4 years, got out, became a teacher. And she was from Hawaii, but she was like this huge Steelers fan, Miss Latshaw. She was my favorite teacher I ever had. She used to make me do my test in a a separated room because I was distracted, and I would be like,
why am I not surprised?
I would take so long to take the test because I didn't know the answers. And
Mhm.
it would just be like the class is over and I'm still in that room just staring at the paper. And she would be like, so it's not that one because we talked about that, right? It's not that one. So that leaves that one or that one. So which one do you think it is? And she would hover her finger over
You're like, that's also why she was my favorite teacher ever.
the OG of all teachers,
Oh
helping
yeah.
their students out, man.
Oh yeah. Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
dude, Big Ben is old news. So because of all of that, I say that if Mike Tomlin doesn't win a Super Bowl this year or even a playoff game, we
Mhm.
have to sit back and ask ourselves while we're sharpening our pitchfork. We
Mhm.
have to ask ourselves, why doesn't he get the same pass other coaches do when they don't have a franchise quarterback for the amount of time that the Steelers haven't had one? And that's why I'm not even saying this goes until Ben retired.
Yeah.
It goes before Ben retired. And I feel like that's the blessing and the curse with being such a great coach is
Mhm.
that your floor is a winning record. So the quarterback fall off is never so obvious because it's like, I don't know. I mean, people were convinced that he fixed Russ last year. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
what happens when you win. People don't remember. And Jared Goff said it best in the new season of quarterback. He said after losing the game to the Bills, he said, and that was later in the season when they were on like a 13-game win streak. And
Mhm.
he said, the thing about losing is that when you lose a game, you look at all the things like the mistakes you made, and when you win a game, it's like it's easy to brush over the mistakes you made because at the end of the day you won the game.
Mhm.
But when you lose a game, it's like, oh yeah, that mistake cost us the game.
Mhm.
Like it's all of a sudden your mistakes, the same mistakes you might have made in a win, but now you're forced to like acknowledge that that's the reason you lost was
Mhm.
because of that interception or that route or that
Mhm.
miscommunication. So like I think when he continues to win, we're not analyzing his quarterbacks harsh enough. And I think if you put the quarterbacks he's had for the last 7 years on 90% of the other coaches, I think we're talking about 5-6 win seasons, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see that. I just, man, it's, but also to what position are they drafting?
Like in
Right?
the
Like,
draft,
what position are they drafting? Yeah, like what position are they drafting in terms of getting a quarterback? Because I deal with this with the Bulls and the NBA. They've made the play-in game for like 3 years in a row, and for 3 years in a row they lost to the Miami Heat, which puts them in the bottom 10 or mid-teens in terms of picking a draft. In the NBA, it is a lot different than the NFL. If you're not picking in the top 5, 6, 7, you're not going to get a star. Like you really got to get like a Jokic type of second rounder to be like, holy shit, this guy's really good. But in the NFL, it's like if you're not getting a fucking quarterback in the first round, the chances of a second, third, fourth, fifth round quarterback that you pick up to be your guy is slim. I mean, you got to go back to what? Russ, Dak. Dak actually was a fifth rounder, and he's been one of the better quarterbacks of his draft class, I would say. I think I got to look back, but definitely in terms of fifth round quarterbacks, like you've got to get one of those diamonds in the rough. Whereas the Steelers are always just above 500, and yet always a wild card, and yet can never get that type of quarterback. Because, for example, if last year they were as bad, if not worse, than the Broncos were when they picked Bo Nix, if the Steelers get Bo Nix with Tomlin as a coach too, and their affinity for going 9-8 above 500 every year, that may change their trajectory in terms of where they are in the playoffs, where they are in the division, because you're dealing with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. If you get a Bo Nix guy in there, or if you even get like a JJ McCarthy, which we haven't really seen much of, or even a Michael Penix is probably a better example. If you're Tomlin and if you're the Steelers, you've got something to look forward to versus, oh, we got Justin Fields and Russ. Okay, cool. I guess we'll get 9 wins or 10 wins or whatever it is they got. Now they got to go with Aaron Rodgers, who over the last couple seasons, he has been injured, but has not looked great with the Jets. It's also like, okay, guys, we have to tank because I want a good fucking quarterback for once. Like the Bears sucked with Fields, sucked for the most part with Trubisky, and then they were finally able to get Caleb, and Caleb was showing a lot of promise last year. And hopefully with Ben Johnson, it gets better. But like, if you're a Steelers fan, you are kind of in that world where you're like, can we just suck for a year and get a top 10 quarterback pick, like the second, third best quarterback if we can, or even if the first, there is that side of it too, that other perspective where you're like, can we just please suck to get a really good quarterback or a young promising guy? You know what I mean?
I think that the Steelers, and you're right. And because you're right, that's 4.5 gold stars for you.
Yes.
And I will also say the GM for the Steelers, he's already got a plan and no one knows what it is, even though the signs are in front of us. Nice. If you're a Steelers fan, I'm about to break some massive news right now.
Oh my God. I'm about to bust.
The Steelers the Steelers are going to be picking in the top 5 next year, and their draft pick, like their natural draft selection, will not be a top 5 pick. But
I get you.
Aaron Rodgers came in for 1 season. Why would he come in for 1 year? Besides the fact, not why would he come back for 1 year, but why would the Steelers want another 1-year thing instead of making a move and trying to bring in a Kirk Cousins or somebody else? Well, because their plan right now is that they need a bridge of a year. And then after that year, they're going to move up into the draft next year, which is a loaded quarterback draft class. And they're going to move up with TJ Watt. And if you look, the TJ Watt is holding out of practice right now. These are mandatory practice. This is rookie or not rookie, but regular mini camp. And
OTAs or something.
OTAs. He's sitting out because he said he wants a new deal. And the reason he wants a new deal is because his agent, like myself, understand what's happening. The Steelers want to play this final year of TJ Watt's season. Instead of giving him a new deal, they want to use him to trade up into the draft and get their franchise quarterback next year. Now, TJ Watt may not even play if they don't give him a new deal, because everyone can feel kind of what's going on. Because why wouldn't the Steelers have already paid him? Like, is he good enough? Yes. He is the most disrupting player in the NFL. But what good is it if you don't have a quarterback? And the Steelers have learned that lesson in the last couple of years, and they're ready to get rid of the fancy rims for a more reliable car. And that's why TJ Watt is expendable. And I think the Steelers' best approach is to sit down and be honest with him. But he may not play if they are. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't see a new deal happening, because that would throw a wrench in their massive plan. And they've kind of a lot of dominoes would fall. They've put a lot of thought into this. They brought Aaron Rodgers for 1 year.
Yeah.
It's like,
Kyle must be fucking onto something. I love this too, because I don't know what team we were talking about earlier this offseason, but I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this team has got to make a move. And now that you bring up that with TJ Watt, the whole situation there, wanting to restructure, it's like, okay, if you want to restructure, maybe we can do a trade instead. But why not do that trade in the offseason prior to the draft? So now, like you said, move up in the draft, pick an Arch Manning if he decides to leave, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, Klubnik from Clemson, Drew Aller, Penn State, Nico Iamaleava from UCLA, Carson Beck maybe from Miami. Like these are some fucking big brain 10 steps ahead moves you're thinking of, Kyle. I love it.
I'm trying to see. They said that there's some new news about it. The Steelers have made many changes this offseason, changing the way the team looks. However, what's happening behind the scenes is what's causing the most attention. The Steelers are currently in negotiations with TJ Watt, whose current deal expires at the end of the season. The organization is eager to secure a new contract well before his current one runs out. However, things don't appear to be going as smoothly as hoped. Negotiations are still ongoing and no new deal has been finalized. And recently, Steelers insider Mark Colby from 93.7 The Fan provided an update on Watt. While Colby remains confident the Steelers will ultimately reach an agreement with Watt, he said that the process is going to take some time. What this says to me right now is that it's not getting done until September, which would throw a wrench in my whole prediction here. But I'm just feeling this one. And I know that the best thing for the GMs to do in these situations, if they want Watt to play, is to lie. It's that is what happens, dude. Like, they can't just be honest. Like, they would be like, well, then I'm not going to waste getting hurt if that's the case, because that might put my whole career in jeopardy. We know that when players get traded, their value goes down, right, wrong, or otherwise. Von Miller went to the Rams, and it took him a while to find a team after that, even though it had only been 4 months since he was a Bronco. I mean, like, there's just something about a team saying that we're good without you that just makes your value go down, even if it had nothing to do with the player. Jalen Ramsey, OBJ, all those players we talked about today, the beginning of their fall was their initial team not wanting him. Stephon Diggs is on the Patriots because the Bills said we didn't want him anymore. And so did the Texans a year later.
So I just looked up because I'm about to do a deep dive at this with what you're saying. So ESPN has predicted some of who they believe are the worst teams in the NFL going in ending next season, 2025 season. So Titans. Here are the teams, the 5 teams. Yep, Titans are one of them. Saints, Browns, Jets, and Panthers. Now, the Saints, the Titans, and to me, the Panthers stick out. The Jets and the Browns, not so much. The Browns mostly because they have already paid
Deshaun
Myles Garrett,
Watson.
His money, his record-breaking money. Did you hear me?
You said the Browns stick out because they paid Myles Garrett, so they
don't stick out because they already paid Myles Garrett, and then the Jets because they've got quarterback. They're kind of in that in-between zone with Justin Fields. Like, are they gonna be good or not? Like with Justin Fields, and will they be wanting to invest in a quarterback at that time? Now, the Panthers, the Titans, and the Saints stick out because the Titans have Cam Ward. The Saints are going to go with a combination of their quarterbacks, other younger guys because Derek Carr retired. And then the Panthers have Bryce Young, who is still under a rookie contract going into year 3. And they're probably going to have to restructure or decide whether or not they want to go with him. Now, the Panthers
promise, though.
A lot of promise, especially with Canal as a head coach, 100%. Now, the Panthers also just lost Burns, their top defensive edge rusher. The Titans have some pieces at defense, but I don't think they have a guy like TJ Watt, nor do the Saints. So if these are indeed the worst teams at the end of the 2025 season, I think a lot of these teams can benefit from a TJ Watt, especially given that TJ Watt's probably going to want some market similar, if not market breaking money like Myles Garrett. But I think those are I don't know how much money the Saints are going to have because they always seem to be in cap hell.
They're like 200 in the hole.
Yeah, and yet somehow they always make it work. So the Panthers can be a little bit better, but really, out of these 5 teams, I'm looking at the Saints and the Titans as the guys that are going to be willing to not only trade their pick for a TJ Watt, but then give TJ Watt the money. And I think at the end of the day, it might be the Titans. So yeah, I can absolutely see this working out in favor of one of these teams, whether it be the Saints, the Titans, or even the Panthers, depending on how their season goes. But yeah, dude, that's actually a very good kind of look ahead here in the middle of July prior to the 25 season. Because if the Pittsburgh Steelers can indeed get something like that done, then they are looking at a top young quarterback that they can bring in, control for majority of the rookie contract, and hopefully have it be their next Ben Roethlisberger, who wins 2 Super Bowls and is their franchise guy.
And there could always also be a 3-way trade with a team like the Browns, who I think are going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the Browns are going to be probably picking in the top 4. And
okay.
Then they got another pick because they got Jacksonville's pick by getting Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So next year, Cleveland will have 2 first overall, 2 first round picks potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know how good Jags are going to be right away, but they have that as well. So they might be like, you know what? We'll keep one of these picks, and with the other one, we'll trade it and get another team involved. And that's, a 3-way trade. These happen all the time, especially with draft picks, with high draft picks. Like when the 49ers moved up for Trey Lance, there was 3 teams involved. It was the Dolphins and I think another team. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But I could see something like that happening where it would be 1 pick and 1 player, 3 rotations. But if they do pay TJ Watt, is it a mistake?
Yeah, because you don't. Well, if we're going off the basis of this comment by Nick, birds fly, grass is green, and Mike Tomlin wins 11-9 games a year. If we're going off of that, it is a huge mistake because you're not going to be in a position to get a quarterback again in what's supposed to be a pretty quarterback heavy draft next year. That's a mistake. The thing is, I think the Steelers will probably do that. And God, I don't know, man, because you can't trade Aaron Rodgers. He's on a 1-year deal. Your best value in terms of a player is TJ Watt. Unless Jaylen Warren breaks out for an amazing running back season. And even then, I mean, he's going in his 3rd year. Maybe you have some wiggle room there with his rookie contract. You might be able to give him off to somebody, kind of like the Bears did with Justin Fields.
I think
right now it's TJ Watt.
I feel like the Giants should trade for TJ Watt, their 1st round pick, and just go full defense. Be like,
that's the only thing they got right now. Yeah.
Because I think the plan is Jackson Dart is going to not have success. He's going to be the Giants quarterback this season and next season. And in the 2027 NFL draft, which sounds far away, it's only 2. Manning is going to be available. And I think I would be looking at that if I were the Giants. So they probably wouldn't do the trade because they're like, we want that. But if Jackson Dart doesn't work out, it would make sense that Manning would go play with, his uncle's old team to fill the shoes that nobody has since he left. Because Manning's not coming out in 26.
You're right. He's expected, they're saying he might, but I think I agree with you. I don't think 1 year at Texas is going to be enough for him to be like, all right, see you guys. I do think he plays his what I would assume is his junior or senior year. I forget what it was.
Too much good advice around him to do
Correct.
that for
The
one.
pedigree.
Also, there's no rush because I guarantee you, Manning, whether Peyton or Eli or Cooper, they're all telling him, dude, enjoy college.
Yeah.
You could be in the NFL and be a superstar, but there will always be something special about college and you'll never get back. So don't rush it.
True.
Money is not an issue. It's not like some of these NFL
NIL.
players that are
You're right.
rushing to the NFL to take care of their family.
Mm-hmm.
The Mannings are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's in a very, what is it called? Privileged situation where he's doesn't need to go to the NFL. So short of winning Heisman and the national championship, which I don't think he wins both his first year, I think he's coming back for one more season. I think anything other than that just doesn't sound true to me. I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, and you can even look at that as like you're saying, like the Giants. I mean, even the Steelers too. You're getting a cheap guy. Like looking at Arch Manning, like you said, like money is not an issue. You're part of a great pedigree type of NFL football family. You're at Texas, which is a big name school, and teams are already looking at you regardless if you come out next year or in 2027. So you're being looked at, like NFL teams are like, we're going to draft you. Now, the only thing there is like how you said, does he win the national championship and the Heisman in the same year? Your stock at that point cannot be any higher, and you risk injury. Obviously, I think injury is always in the back of professional athletes' heads. I never think it's the main priority, but I definitely think it's always in the back of their heads, especially at the college level, knowing that you can get to the NFL. But yeah, man, like you said, I think he's in a great position to do whatever the fuck he wants, whether it's stay at Texas for another year after this season or go to the NFL if he does indeed kind of reach a level to where he's like, I'm satisfied and I'll go to the NFL now. But the only thing I'll disagree with you in is the Giants. I don't know if he necessarily like at the end of the day, it all depends on which team drafts him. But I don't know if like he's like, I want to go to the Giants to kind of fill the shoes of my uncle. Honestly, with guys like that, I think they want to pave their own way and make their own story. Whether it be with another team or on the same team, but just a different era. But honestly, like I don't know if the Giants or the Colts, for example, are on his like radar to be like, I want to go there to continue the Manning sort of thing. It's like, no, I kind of want to make my own thing, especially going to Texas too.
And Tebow won the Heisman Trophy as a sophomore. He was the first sophomore to ever win the Heisman.
Wow. Yeah. That's just how good he was, man.
And he, even as a freshman, contributed heavily to them winning a national championship with Chris Leak as the starter.
Yep.
So when he took over as the full-time starter, immediately won the Heisman. And then instead of going into the NFL draft, ran it back and won the national championship. And like, I think when you look at Tebow, he's probably one of the most decorated college football players ever. And he still didn't leave Florida until like, it was just like what he was,
he's a senior. He did 4 years, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did 4 years.
And he loved it. It's a whole era of college football is Tebow.
Yeah, and it was like a different time too. Like even like in the NBA when like players would stay their entire 4 years and actually build rivalries with other college players. I feel like that was kind of the same thing with like Tebow's time. But again, it all depends on your situation. Like I don't think the situation definitely dictates what you do, especially in terms of like stock.
I think had Arch Manning played last year all season, I think it's possible that he would declare, but just to do one college football, I mean, what's the common theme with Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, who had some of the most successful? I mean, Bo Nix and Justin Herbert both had the first and second most total touchdowns as rookies.
Yeah.
then you look
Bo
at
Nix had the first, right? He had the most.
no, Bo Nix had this. He was 2 touchdowns short of Herbert.
Oh, I thought he had the most in rookie
Although Bo
history.
didn't throw a touchdown until week 3, so it was like a
True.
light switch. I'm excited for but regardless,
Mhm.
the COVID year gave that 5th year eligibility.
Mhm.
And now I think people are starting, when I say people, like everybody, the players, the coaches, the scouts, we're starting to see the value of players not rushing to the NFL.
Yeah.
Because like you said, when players try to capitalize on their value in any given moment, it does 2 things to you. It's the same as when they decide not to throw in the drills or not
Mhm.
run. It's like, are you not willing to bet on yourself that
Yeah.
you have to take advantage that you have a jack and a 10 because you know that your next hand is probably going to be worse?
Yeah.
Like, is that that doesn't necessarily make teams confident, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
In your abilities. So I've always just felt like that's a bad look. But who's the last quarterback to have one good college season and then rush to the NFL and just crushed it? You know?
Burrow.
But I feel like Burrow didn't have only one good season.
I don't think he got opportunity at Ohio State. I think I mean clearly his best season was with LSU winning the national championship and I believe the Heisman. Did he not win the Heisman?
He won, yeah. He won
did.
the Heisman. They won the national championship in
Mhm.
2019, and he won the Heisman
Mhm.
and set numerous records. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. A redshirt freshman limited his playing time at Ohio State
Mhm.
2015, 2016, and 2017.
Yeah.
He was a senior.
Mhm.
So
He came back for a 5th year with LSU. Yeah.
was that a 5th year?
Yeah, because he redshirted his
Oh,
freshman year.
redshirt. I didn't know what that means.
So
I hear
it
it all the
basically
time.
means, it basically means like you sit out a year and learn. That way you have eligibility because in Burrow's case and in many other people's cases, Arch Manning also recently, they're not going to start freshman year and they don't have any opportunity to come in games freshman year. So they redshirt, basically giving them that
You're not
extra year.
allowed to play if you redshirt?
They don't expect to play because they
Okay.
know I'm not going to get any action in the college game.
Gotcha. So he redshirted. That gave him that extra year. But yeah, I think Joe Burrow's a bad example because I'm really saying like a sophomore that
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
that just like did really well and then was like, let me just jump into the NFL because I got
It's
and
almost like if Tebow after sophomore year rushed to the NFL. I get
right.
you. Yep.
And the fact that he won the Heisman, the national championship, and broke all those records, like I remember watching LSU that year, and I mean, I knew Joe Burrow was going to be a major star,
Mm-hmm.
and those quarterbacks, like when you see what I felt, I could tell you, there's Jameis Winston, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow in the last 6 years. Those quarterbacks are the ones that stand out to me in their college career. Jameis Winston lost only one football game in 2 years with Florida State.
Crazy.
Trevor Lawrence went undefeated, won the national championship, and then like lost in the national championship his second year. That type of success in college, I don't think we're ever going to see it again because with this new thing where we're paying college players, there is no more Alabama. There's no more you really have a balanced playing field in a way that we've never had before. So I just don't know if those undefeated win the Heisman, win the whole, like there may never be that type of value in a player again.
It'll be difficult. I think it'll be difficult in terms of like your Nick Sabans at Alabama translating into 2 or 3 year starters being like Alabama and the entire SEC is the closest thing to the NFL you'll get. And that's why a majority of our players get drafted in the NFL their first fucking year, but you're right. You've got now Bill Belichick's going to what? North Carolina. Players are staying in North Carolina now because of Bill Belichick. They're staying at Big Ten schools instead of going to the SEC because you're getting paid now. There's a transfer portal now because you're like, okay, if I'm not going to start my sophomore year, I'm going to go to a team that wants me to start my sophomore year. And then, like you said, it translates into, okay, we're not going to have 1 year starters at sophomore year level who are Tim Tebow's who are going to immediately move on to the NFL. There's more than enough money to be made at the college level now. They don't need to make it over there. They can have very, very comfortable lives in college, studying, playing football, and having a good life. So no, I totally get you. I totally get you.
All right, I'll wrap it up with this. We did the top 5. I'm going to name 6. Stafford, 7, Herbert, 8, Goff, Hurts. Hurts is at 9.
I don't get that. I do not get that.
Hurts is at 9.
That's ridiculous.
And like I love Jared Goff, but not above Hurts. And I think the one thing that watching Quarterback Season 2 on Netflix has taught me is I don't think we've ever had this many great quarterbacks in our league at the same time.
Trying to think. I don't know, man. Tom Brady, Manning,
I know we can do that error, but like we can only name 7.
What's his name? The Saints guy?
Drew Brees.
Yeah, even at that point, like after you get out of those 4, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers, possibly even Brett Favre before Rodgers. Well, they were both playing at the same time too, so you can actually say Brett Favre on the Jets and the Vikings. Yeah, I mean, there's 5, 6 right there. You're right. Yeah, but yeah, so going back to the list before I go back to the late 2000s and early 2010s quarterbacks, off the bat, Jalen Hurts not at 9. But we also have to look at this in the scope of best quarterbacks after 2025. Jane Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Okay, got that. I think Jalen Hurts still played better than Herbert, even though he had like 3 interceptions last year or whatever the fuck it was. And even Stafford. Yeah, exactly. And even Stafford. Like I think I'm putting Goff 6, Jalen Hurts 7, Baker Mayfield 8. Then I'm putting Herbert 10 and Stafford 9. I think that's a little bit better.
I'm kind of torn because part of me wants CJ Stroud to be involved.
Part of me, but he had a really like mid-season slump.
Yeah, but like the team was so injured, it was ridiculous. He had no offensive line. Look, if you have a bad offensive line, you're just not going to be as good as you were when you did have a good offensive line. And I think a lot of times we overreact. It's like we praise them too much when they win and we blame them too much when they lose. And when it comes to CJ Stroud, he is exactly what Jaden Daniels was last year.
100%.
Like going into this year, actually, is the list available for 2024? 2024 NFL executives. I want to see if it's if it's ranking all. I would love to see the 2024 version. Okay, the top quarterbacks include, here it is, according to ESPN analysts. Okay, that was 2025. Jared Goff.
It's an ESPN Plus fucking article. That's so dumb.
AI said this: the top quarterbacks in the NFL for 2024, based on performance and rankings from various sources, include Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, and CJ Stroud. Sam Darnold was considered a top quarterback before last year. Bullshit.
There's no way that's true.
There's no way. AI is particularly bad at football.
NFL quarterback ratings before 2024 season, because this is what we're looking, or after 2023 season.
Before
after 2023 season, because this list we're looking at now is after 2024.
You know what I'll do? I'll put off season 2024.
That would be this year. That would be the list we're looking at now.
Well, this is off season 2025.
It's preseason 2025.
Well, I'm saying the off season of 2024.
But that would be this list that we're looking at. That's why I'm saying.
No, we're in the off season of 2025.
No, 2025 off season is after the Super Bowl.
No, that'll be 2026 then.
This is what
I get. I think I get what you're saying now.
I know what you're saying too. Yeah. It's like, when does the off season finish and when does the preseason begin?
Like, I think this is considered the 2025 off season, but I could understand. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
so I'm gonna look that up. When does NFL off season?
It's a hard question to even. What year does? Because the off season officially starts, I think, the day after the Super Bowl.
So the off-season period in football is a transitional phase between the end of one competitive season and the beginning of preseason for the next. So technically right now we're still in the off-season. So preseason is when the preseason games start for 2025. So technically we're in 2024 off-season right now.
Oh, I just don't like the way it sounds.
I know. It's really weird. But until I think,
Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 2024 offseason.
Yeah, exactly. From the 2025 draft.
Well,
so I think until the actual NFL preseason games start, we're still in the offseason for 2024.
Well, I was able to do this at least.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL power rankings in 2024 after free agency. So this was March 25th, 2024. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Chiefs were at 1. The Lions were at 2. The Niners were at 3. Which was a shocker for a lot of people. I actually had that right. I even made a short where I was like, the vibes just aren't right in San Francisco. And dude, they weren't. 4.
Dude, they weren't.
The Ravens were at 4. Buffalo was at 5. The Dolphins were at 6. Eagles 7. And then Texans were at 8. The Texans want to be explosive in both the run and the pass game to keep defenses off balance. Adding Mixon, who rushed for 1,034 yards and 9 touchdowns and had 3 receiving touchdowns last year, could bolster a rushing attack that ranked 22nd in yards per game. Mixon has rushed for 1,000 yards. Okay, so I think this is only judging like based on the free agency,
mm-hmm.
which teams improved the most in free agency.
Oh.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
that's not really what I was looking for. But the straight up power rankings, just like the teams,
Yeah.
not just that. Kansas City was 1, the Niners were 2, Ravens were 3, Lions were 4, number 5, the Eagles, and number 6 was the Texans. And
There you go.
This is what they said. The Texans traded for Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs. Both can elevate CJ Stroud's air attack going into year 2. Since 2020, Diggs was, remarkable. Mixon was remarkable. Adding Diggs and Mixon to a group with Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Dalton Schultz could lead to an even more explosive offense. So number 6, right? And this is kind of true to the quarterbacks. Like I could go, Mahomes number 1, Chiefs.
Yep.
Lamar number 3, Ravens. Goff maybe not 4. Hurts 5. I think Hurts 5.
Because they had a really bad year that year. Yeah,
and they fired all their coordinators for that. But and then Texans at 6. I think last year this list probably would have had CJ Stroud at number 6 because
100%
what he accomplished. So
exactly,
I feel like we're doing that again with Jaden Daniels because he won those 2 games. And look, I think that's fine. I just don't understand why the NFL has quarterback darlings that when they exceed expectations, they're like, I'm just going to say it. Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels both went into a season where they were predicted to have a top 5 draft the following year. And both teams won double-digit games and lifted their teams into the postseason. And Bo Nix is not even in the top 15. So I just think are those 2 games, those 2 wins, is that why he's at 5? Or is it just the regular season? Because there's many different metrics where Bo Nix was better than Jane Daniels if we're just looking at the numbers. So obviously it's the intangible, the it factor. And I think that just comes from those 2 playoff wins at the end of the day. And the Lions were super beat up by the time they got to the playoffs. They were, they did not have most of their players were hurt, including the best defensive player, one of the best in the league, in Aiden Hutchinson. They beat and it's a big win on the road. I'm not taking that away, but I'm just saying the Lions weren't at full strength. And then the week before that, the Commanders beat who did they beat in the wild card round? It wasn't the Packers.
Oh God, that's a good question.
It was the Bucks, right? I think it was the Bucks.
No, I thought that was a divisional game, but I'm gonna look it up.
Was it
2024 playoff bracket?
Because it couldn't be, because they lost to the Eagles in the conference.
Maybe you're right though. Let's see. Yep, no, it was the Bucks. The Commanders beat the Bucks 23-20.
Okay,
then they played the Lions after that. Yeah.
Last year, the Bucks were playing for a playoff spot week 18. And the Atlanta Falcons went on a 5-game losing streak, and they still were in the playoff picture because of how bad that division was. And I know Baker, Baker got hot at the right time late last season, and we forgot about everything. But the Bucks were a little bit above mediocre. And if that conference would have been the AFC, those teams wouldn't have made the playoffs. You know what I mean?
So I get what you're saying. Now, just thinking about Bo Nix and Jaden, because I know you're saying the whole quarterback darling type of thing. I totally get that. With Jaden Daniels, it was a first-year head coach. They were coming off a really bad year. They had just gotten rid of Schneider, the owner. So it was a second year of new ownership. So there was a lot of hope going into that. Now with the Broncos,
second year new ownership.
Yeah. Second year new ownership. First year first year for the Commanders head coach which was Quinn. He's been a coach before, a head coach before, obviously with the Falcons. With the Broncos, you like the ownership had been there 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 2.
Oh, 2 years. Okay, so 2 years. They had a bad taste. I think the NFL as a whole and the media had a bad taste in their mouth from the Broncos being like, they're going to be $80 million in the hole for the next 2 years because of the Russ thing. Also, Bo Nix was the last quarterback taken in the draft. So already there's those narratives of like, and on top of that,
too high for Nix.
Yeah. Exactly. And on top of that, were the Broncos not estimated or predicted to have the first, second, or third worst record in the NFL
overall pick?
Exactly. So there was already a bad taste in NFL media's mouth about the Broncos. On top of that as well, Nick Bonito, Cooper, Zach Allen, all these guys, and even Courtland Sutton to an extent were like surprises in terms of the entire NFL to these media people. They were like, oh my God, Benito's fucking killing it in the sack game. He had a touchdown return. Courtland Sutton is a legit number 1 wide receiver. Things that you and I, and I'm sure a lot of Broncos Nation already knew in terms of talent, but because there weren't names that like stood out, that the Broncos were kind of like an afterthought in regards to the Commanders. Now, don't get me wrong. The Commanders have Terry McLaurin, and they had Brian Robinson Jr. and
Austin Eckler.
Okay, Austin Eckler, sure.
Tight end. Who's their tight end?
Ertz. Zach Ertz. There weren't too many names on the Commanders, but for the second overall pick to be Jaden Daniels, like that was already like, oh my God, this is going to be sick. So I think the narratives
the same though in the weapon thing. Like we had Courtland Sutton, who a lot of people still don't think he's a real number 1, like the type of number 1 that like a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, like he's like in a different tier.
He's like in the DJ Moore.
Not even. I don't think DJ Moore. I mean, I think he should be, but I just don't think he is. Like, if you asked any stranger, DJ Moore, Courtland Sutton, I think most are going DJ Moore.
So then would you say he's probably like,
I would because
of you, because of this. Okay. Yeah. Kind of like a low key underrated wide receiver 1 who necessarily hasn't made a name for himself yet, but is like to the fan base, like that's our number 1 guy. Like, we know. Okay, I get you. And then, I just think that the narratives are a little weird.
Yeah, and then like all of our tight ends collectively didn't have 200 yards receiving. All of them.
Yeah, it was bad. Like your best guy had 3 touchdowns.
No running
tight end. No running game.
Williams. Yeah, not good. It was running back by committee. We had a rookie that didn't really see the field much because he fumbled too much, and then
the defense wasn't very good the year prior in 23.
But like for all of these reasons is why I think Bo should be in the top 15.
Don't get me wrong. The Broncos defied expectations.
I feel like that should have been like a wow moment. And then they loaded up on defense and then added Evan Ingram and drafted a new running back and a new wide receiver. And Marvin Mims did break out in the final 5 games last year. And it's like, it's like, the writing's on the wall, but nobody's like picking Denver even to make the playoffs next year. I've seen even Colin Cowherd, he has Denver missing the playoffs. The Chargers are the pick that everyone, if people want to go a different route than the Chiefs, they go Chargers. And I've even seen the Raiders with the better, and I'm just, I don't know. It's like, are we saying last year was a fluke?
Which is weird because Surtain won defensive MVP.
I feel like everybody should be like, that's the bandwagon to jump on right now.
And also, I think
paid these young guys. We're loaded with talent, and we have so much depth because they're all young.
Also, I think too, part of it is the loss they had against the Bills, the type of loss they had. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great game played by the Broncos. And that I think is also plays into a part of it. Now, Bo Nix himself, like just Bo Nix, disregarding everything that else happened around him,
Right.
I still I could see him top 15.
I think this year there will be no question at
I
the end of
think
this year.
100%. If he continues to do what he did after last year, because Sean Payton's going to be there. That's no question. And you can only assume it's going to get better.
Right, and he's way ahead of where he was last year.
Mhm.
Last year he was learning a new playbook. You know, he went to Auburn and then went to Oregon and then got a new coach at Oregon, then went to the NFL. For the last 5 years of playing football, every offseason he had to learn a new coach and a new system.
Yeah.
This is his first year ever with the same coach and the same system.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is amazing. I'm like in and out of the huddle. I know the playbook. I can teach other players.
Mhm.
I'm like able to diaggnose I'm paying more attention to the defense and not so much in my own head about where I'm supposed to be going with the ball. Like those things are huge. And he was already processing what appeared a regular or even a little bit above average level. He was a fast processor with the football. And he's saying that he feels like he's like way, way like beyond that. And I'm like, this could be dangerous.
And the playoff game, you could tell in that second half, if not for a majority of that game, he was like, I've got to do whatever the fuck I can do to get us in a position to win. You could see the heart and the toll and the amount of I don't know what to call it, but like he was like trying to take over that game to put the Broncos in any sort of position to try to score. I was when I was watching the game, I was like, Bo Nix is trying to do this all by himself.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And he's he's doing well. So when you look at that, again, this is why I kind of like Bo Nix by himself, regardless of the team. You guys are totally good with him because he is the type of guy when shit looks like the biggest mountain to climb, he's like, all right, get on my back. I got you. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's one thing you're looking at in that loss where you're just like, we got it. We got our guy.
And I'm wondering, because, I said this was going to be the best draft class ever. And I still think that. Do you think by this time next year, Caleb Williams will be in that top 15?
I fucking hope so, man. I think with Ben Johnson and honestly,
because we could have 3 of the 6 in the top 15 next year.
Dude, that would be like that alone speaks to what you and I were talking about last year in terms of the quarterback draft class, like how good it's going to be. Like we may have 4, 5 out of 6.
If Drake May takes the Patriots,
I think in terms of Caleb Williams, bringing on Ben Johnson and investing in the offensive line is going to help immensely. Like this offseason for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson is going to help him immensely. And I really do hope that Caleb, Bo, fucking even Jaden and sprinkling a couple of the other guys from that draft class. Like they are talked about, how Jaden is being talked about this offseason right now. Like this is a guy who right now, if we ended the season, in terms of all quarterbacks, these are the guys that I would want to have on my team. So I totally agree. I think there's been a lot of improvements for the Bears. JJ McCarthy has fucking Kevin O'Connell, who is an amazing head coach. Penix is going to have a defensive-minded head coach, but he's going to build off last year. And then Drake May, you bring in Vrabel and a former Patriot who played under Belichick and has won Coach of the Year and has gone to the playoffs.
Stability.
It's stability. It's gonna be progress. So I like honestly, like I could see all 6 of these guys next year being talked about in terms of like the new class, the new wave of quarterbacks is coming. And
I know
whether or not they win right away, it's still gonna be.
I was gonna say, and I know for for us at least, we kick off the season against the Titans. That's going to be an easy win. And then the week after that,
Yeah.
just
I love it. I love already. Dude, we're so close. 50 days away.
And then right after that, it's hold on, let me just tell you, because it's like it's Titans and then the Colts, which isn't like the easiest, but also it's like, who's their quarterback again?
Daniel Jones. And Anthony Richardson.
Right. So
sorry, Ginger.
I think if they beat the Chargers week 3, okay, which is going to be a good game. But if Denver's 2-0 rolling into that game with good energy, I think they could. And then the game I'm going to, my first game of the season, will be Monday Night Football the following week. Bengals Broncos. It's also the last Broncos game I went to in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
This one will be in Denver on Monday night. And that last game, I may never see a game that good again. But this one, we're going to be wearing the throwbacks probably. It's going to be like, dude, it's going to be huge, because if you knock off Joe Burrow to take your team to 5-0, or at that point it would be 4-0.
4-0, yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, dude. Are the Broncos, like, could they go to the, it's going to be overreactions because of, 2 good wins. But it's still I think as early as September 29th, before October hits, I think people will all of a sudden be backpedaling on having Denver like out of the playoffs this year. And all it takes is 2 good wins.
Honestly, like the Bengals win, don't get me wrong, that's a very, very good win with Joe Burrow at quarterback and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins being paid and being wide receivers ones, basically 2 of them. But honestly, if 3-0, the Broncos are 3-0, Bo Nix is doing Bo Nix things like that he was doing late last year. Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, Surtain, all these guys playing to the level they were playing at last year. I think even at 3-0 after a Chargers division win, I think the NFL media is looking at this Broncos team like they're building on last year, and they are a very good team. I think the Bengals win takes you over the top at 4-0. I think you're already thinking like, can they dethrone the Chiefs? I think you're looking at that. I think that may be a narrative at 4-0.
Which is exciting because they play the Eagles the next week.
Oh, even at that. And the Bears play the Eagles next week.
Really?
Next year as well. I forget what week. I think it's like week 10 or 11. I think it's the Black Friday game.
Don't you guys play the Vikings week 1?
Vikings week 1. And then we play the Eagles Black Friday. So the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Thank God. I can't do another Thanksgiving game.
It's important for them. Yeah, that was brutal. I'm like, it's important when you have a new coach to start off nice. So you got Vikings and Lions.
Oh, rough.
That's
like
a good
start.
Yeah,
all of our division games started week 10, and now it's like bam, bam to start off the year.
You got the Cowboys, which I don't know. We'll see what the Cowboys are. They play they play the Eagles to open the year. So
100%.
We'll know a lot about them quick.
Yeah.
And then right after the Eagles, the Cowboys, you get the Raiders, which there we go.
I hope that. Yeah.
I view them Raiders are a little right now, kind of. I mean, it could change. I view like the Raiders and the Bears the same right now. But I think by week 2, that won't be the case. Either one will be here and one will be here, or one will be here and one will be here.
Yeah, because I look at the Raiders and I'm like, Genti, Geno, Pete Carroll, Max Crosby on the defensive side. Like, I'm looking at them like not necessarily like they're going to be one of the worst teams, because even ESPN doesn't have them as the worst teams. But I see them as like one of those like spoiler teams where it's like they can end the year 7-10, or they can end the year like 9-8, 10-7,
or even
something
like
that.
That Raiders game is like your first easy game, and it's not an easy game.
Mm-mm.
And then you got the Commanders, which
not an easy game.
then the Saints is your true easy game.
Yeah, that one should be a win. Like the Commanders, Raiders,
You better win the Saints game because you got Ravens and Bengals after.
Yeah, dude, the Bears have such a fucking hard season. Like Ben Johnson's like, fuck. God damn it. God damn it.
Well, we're gonna have division predictions coming up soon.
Yeah, it's almost, we're mid-July. We're almost in a preseason territory, guys. So football is almost on our TV. We're going to be able to see a lot of our guys, and we're going to be able to just make predictions off preseason games. But I can't wait. Other than that, Kyle, it's time for the motherfucking.
Welcome to the Chives with Kyle. All right, today for my chives, as promised, I'm going to be giving you guys the 100 top 100 players that we missed. So when we capped it off, we knew that Zach Allen was at 90. We knew James Cook was at 89. Andrew Van Ginkel comes in at 88. I think that's where it ended.
Yeah.
Then these will all be new for all of you. Quinnen Williams, 87, down from 50 last year. So he dropped 37 spots.
Wow. Jets defense as a whole dropped down so much, so I get it.
He generated pressure on 11% of his pass rushes on early downs. The fifth. Okay. He generated pressure on 11% of his pass rushers on early downs. All right.
In the third quarter on Sundays.
Quinnen Williams, give your agent a raise for finding that. Jeez.
This is like when they make up stats on ESPN, like LeBron James was the first guy who is 6'5" or taller on Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. games to do this.
To have more assists than Magic Johnson and more 3-point attempts than Curry. You're like,
honestly, pay your agent for that.
Laramie Tunsil was number 15 last year. He's at number 86. Rick?
I got to pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Laramie Tunsil goes from number 86, or rather 15 to number 86. That is hell of a fall. He is getting older, so he did play a full 17 games. I don't know. It's a big drop, but he's with the Commanders now, and so is Von Miller. But Kyron Williams went from number 7 to number 85. What? Kyron Williams was number 7 last year? Are you? What? Okay, we're going to have to bring that up. 7? Wow. What? I don't remember Kyron Williams coming in at number 7. Top 100. 7. Wow. Christian Gonzalez. He wasn't even on the top 100 last year, coming in at 84. Cameron Hayward. Been with the Steelers for 23 years now. I'm kidding. But he's been there for a while. A very long time. He's 35 years old. And he was at number... Oh, I see what happened.
Uh-oh, what happened?
I said Kyron Williams is at 85 this year, which is a fall back from number 7 last year. And I went on a minute rant about how Kyron Williams was ranked 7th last year. and now I realize that it means that he dropped
7 spots.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, there's no way he was the 7th best player last year.
So, okay, Cameron Hayward is at 83. He's actually up, even though he's 35. He moved
Yeah, he's a
up
little bit on the old side.
15 spots. He's getting better as he's getting older. Not many
Wow.
can say that at 35. Jerry Cheese, that's like almost us, dude.
Dude, I'm 34, so I'm right there.
Dude, isn't that weird? I'm gonna be 31. It's like we're at the age where like we're old for football.
Mhm.
Ew. What?
Last season, the beginning of the football season. Shit, I think I paused. I
There you
froze.
are.
Do you remember? Yeah, last season, the beginning of the football season, I was like, dude, is it just me or do these college players look like children? And you're like, yeah, they do. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only old guy thinking that, because this is a progression as you get older.
And I'm like, are they acting younger?
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at old clips of like Stafford and Favre, not just doing white guys here, but like I just
love doing white guys.
Okay. What? So I look at them when they were like rookies in the NFL. I even had to go back and look at like Matt Stafford, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, like their rookie press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can see now that they're young, but they still don't look as young as the young kids now.
They don't.
Why? Is it our food?
Have you ever seen like pictures or videos of like baseball players, football players when they're like 22 and they have like a receding hairline and they look 35? They look like
Trevin Long. I'm like, you're 21? You're 21 years old?
Dude, he was at Clemson. He was a track star.
Yeah, and Grizzly Adams had a beard. Grizzly Adams did have a beard. Happy Gilmore. Number 2 coming out July 21st, I think.
Hell yeah.
Netflix. Okay. Sponsor us, Netflix. Number 81, Trent McDuffie. And that's where the list ends. So Jerry Jeudy making the list at 82 for the first time in his career.
Wow.
And it's because of one game. And Denver had to play their backup, Terrence Wallace. He is no longer on the team.
I remember that game so well.
35 yards.
You were so mad
in that game, and he had like 7 when lined up against Surtain.
You were so mad that game.
We were mad. We
were
all
mad.
We were like,
mad.
if you were cheering for Denver, you were mad because you were like, why aren't they doing something? They can do something about it.
Yeah. You got the defensive MVP.
The best corner in the league. You're getting roasted. He's the only guy.
Yeah.
It's like Amari Cooper wasn't even on the team. Who was their number 2 last year?
It's ridiculous.
I can't even remember. So
no, it was nobody.
They were playing zone and they needed to switch to man, but they were like, nah. Christian Gonzalez also is making this list for the first time.
Nice. Good for him.
Congratulations to him.
Good for him. Yeah.
A cornerback that is expected. I mean, he was drafted high like the Surtains, the Gardners. He was one of those guys. And I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. And I think he'll be in that same J.C. Horn, Stingley, Surtain, Gardner, Gonzalez will be there. So it's cool to see new people get on the list. Laramie Tunsil staying on the list. That's going to help out the Commanders a lot.
100%. Yeah, very much so.
Still has some gas in the tank, and I think he does.
Yeah.
He's going to, because offensive linemen aren't receivers. Like, it's normal to be 34. And Trent Williams, the greatest offensive lineman ever.
Going.
He's still the best ever. I think he's 35. Last year, he just showed up when like week 1 started. He didn't show up to any OTA. He just showed up at like 35 years old, ripped. Like he had been towing cars with his body all off season.
He's like, "What's up, everybody? I'm the guy that's supposed to protect the quarterback's blind side, and I'm going to do a damn good job at it."
Brock Purdy was on Bussin' with the Boys podcast recently.
Yeah.
And he was like, they asked him, what's the difference between when Trent Williams leaves the game and Trent Williams is in the game? He's like, I know it's a weird question because you don't want to talk bad about like your other teammates. And it was just so obvious. He was like, yeah, like it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
Like there is a giant wall on one side of me when Trent Williams is in the game. Yep. I don't even have to look.
Yeah.
Like dude didn't even give up a pressure like 2 years ago. Do you remember that?
Ridiculous. Yeah, he was so good.
And yeah, he's gonna be like 37 soon.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's gonna be damn near 55.
I'm not worried about Laramie Tunsil. I think that was a great move. The Commanders made a lot of great offseason moves. You got to give it to them.
They did. They just got to figure out the Terry McLaurin situation, and they'll be fine.
And we will find out my prediction. Do I have the Eagles winning the division back-to-back for the first time in 21 years? 21 years.
That's
Nobody
wild.
Has ever repeated. That's crazy. That's
wild.
It's so crazy that it's unbelievable, really, because it's like not even once during all the eras of like the Cowboys were good for like 4 years. The Eagles won Super Bowl. They've won 2. They've been to 3 in the last 7 years. It's just like, how has nobody done this twice in a row?
I know. Yeah.
But will it happen this year? That's the question that we're going to answer next week.
Let's hope we will see. All right, guys. Well, thank you everyone who was here. Thank you guys so much. We had the whole crew here, man. I mean, I think Crafty was the only one that we really didn't have, unless he's lurking right now in one of the viewers right now. But we had Nick, we had Jinja, we had KC, Lil E. We were missing E-Dub. What's that?
We were missing Steve.
Missing Steve, missing E-Dub, missing Crafty. So hopefully they all come back soon.
JST Sports Killer.
JST Sports Killer. JST, our first original. I think he was like the OG guy, like the almost OG, where he was just
There's
like
somebody watching it. Okay, act normal.
Yeah, act normal. We're totally cool. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. I'm gonna get to this comment here because I enjoyed it. This one's by Nick. I see Kyle join the Cam Newton hat club.
Just know that if I was a 6'7" black dude, I would be exactly like Cam Newton.
Just all the hats and the
for
fashion.
Better or for worse, that is me.
And I think you highlighted this one, Kyle. Miss you guys, Bill. Always Bill. If you guys look at the bottom ticker there, we've always got Bill on our mind.
I felt like that was Jinja writing to us on behalf of Bill.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at that. That's a good way to look at that. So whether he was or wasn't, I think it's a better way to look at it that way, because Bill's our boy and will always be our boy. RIP. Love you, Bill, so much. We miss you every day.
Yeah.
And we always got him on our mind for sure. So thank you guys again for all of you guys being here. We appreciate the views. Please hit that like button on the video. We would appreciate that thumbs up. Share it. Tell people about the Only Football podcast. The season is almost underway. Preseason is almost here. We here, being the NFL, not Colorado, not Deion Sanders, but that's still fun. We here.
I bought this in Boulder.
Yeah, that's true. Look at that. Boulder shoulders by Kyle too. We love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're all getting ripped this summer because football season, we're going to get fat as hell. So thank you guys so much for being here. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on X at Only Football Pod and at NFL with Kyle. Make sure to go follow us on X. Follow us on Twitch, here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very, very much. And Kyle, always a good time, brother.
Always a good time. I streamlined my YouTube account, so now that's NFL with Kyle as well.
Oh, perfect.